Today, we're unpacking a letter that honestly shouldn't even exist. It's a message that is just overflowing with joy. But here's the thing, it was written from a prison cell. So, how is that even possible? Well, we're about to find out as we dive into the book of Philippians. Right at the heart of this letter is this incredibly bold command: rejoice in the Lord always. And just in case you didn't catch it the first time, the Apostle Paul says it again: rejoice. I mean, that's a powerful statement on its own, but to really feel the weight of it, you have to know where he was when he wrote it. And there it is. This is the key that unlocks the whole thing. Paul wasn't sitting in some quiet, peaceful study. No, he was under house arrest in Rome, probably chained to a Roman guard 24/7 with his entire future, his very life, hanging in the balance. Which of course brings us to the central question, the one that cuts right to the heart of his message. How can someone literally in chains write so powerfully and so convincingly about joy? To get that answer, we actually need to rewind the clock about 10 years. See, the incredible bond Paul had with the people in Philippi, the ones he's writing this letter to, it was all forged during a pretty remarkable journey. So Paul's second mission was this massive undertaking. We're talking over 1,500 miles, mostly on foot. But it wasn't just a long walk. It was this journey of constant redirection. It's fascinating. Every single time Paul tried to head east into Asia, he felt the Spirit mysteriously blocking his path, kind of pushing him west. And it all led to this one pivotal moment, a vision. He sees a man from Macedonia just begging for help, and that vision sets his course directly for Philippi. So they get to Philippi. Now this was a big deal. A bustling city, a strategic Roman colony, and the people there were super proud of their Roman identity. And it's right here that the foundation of this church was built on two very different and very dramatic personal stories. The first converts in all of Europe, believe it or not, was a woman named Lydia. She was a successful businesswoman, a merchant dealing in that super expensive purple cloth, and she was already what you'd call an honest seeker. She already worshiped God. And the text says the Lord simply opened her heart to really hear and embrace Paul's message. Now, the second foundational convert couldn't have been more different. This was a local jailer, a guy who became what we might call a crisis convert. So after Paul and Silas get arrested, this incredible earthquake shakes the prison open. The jailer, he just assumes everyone's escaped, which means he'd be executed for it, and he's about to take his own life. But Paul stops him. And this moment, this life-or-death crisis, is what completely opened him up to hear the gospel. And here's a really interesting detail that the sources point out. For both Lydia and the jailer, this newfound faith wasn't just a private, personal thing. The moment they believed, their entire households were baptized. This immediate public declaration was seen as just the natural and essential next step. Okay, now let's fast forward about 10 years. The church in Philippi is doing great, it's thriving, but Paul's life, it's changed dramatically. He is now a prisoner in Rome, and he's writing back to that very community he helped start all those years ago. This letter is actually one of 4 that he wrote from prison, and we call them the prison epistles. But Philippians, it's just different. You know, the others deal with some pretty heavy doctrine or urgent problems in the church. This one, though, it reads like a warm thank you note, just filled with genuine affection and, you guessed it, joy. I mean, think about it. Despite his terrible circumstances, he's literally in chains. This letter is just saturated with this one powerful theme. A remarkable 16 times in just 4 short chapters, Paul uses the words joy or rejoice 16 times. And this, right here, this is probably the most crucial takeaway of the whole thing. Paul isn't talking about happiness, that fleeting feeling that totally depends on what's going on around us. He is describing something way, way deeper. A joy that is not based on what is happening, but a joy that can exist despite what is happening. It's a kind of contentment that's rooted in his absolute trust in God's plan, not in whether his surroundings are comfortable or not. So how in the world did he get to that place? Well, the letter itself kind of gives us a roadmap. The source material boils Paul's mindset down into 6 key principles for how we can find that same kind of unshakable joy in our own lives today. And listen, this isn't just some checklist. It's a guide to a completely different way of thinking. First, it's about finding a peace that goes beyond your circumstances, not the absence of problems, but a calm in the middle of them. Second, it's achieving real humility, which isn't thinking less of yourself, but thinking about yourself less and focusing on Christ instead. Third, you've got to actively let go of the past, regrets, failures, all of it, and press forward with purpose. Fourth is a huge one, a fundamental shift in your identity. Recognizing your true citizenship isn't here on earth, it's in heaven. That changes your whole perspective. Fifth, finding contentment not in what you have, but in who you trust. And finally, understanding that joy isn't something you can just psych yourself up for. It's the natural result, the fruit of living in this spiritual reality. So, Paul's letter from prison isn't just some ancient document, it's a challenge. He proved that profound, real joy can be found in the darkest of places. And the question his letter leaves us with is this: in a world that is constantly tying our happiness to our circumstances, where will we choose to find a joy that actually lasts?